Hello to Coral Renee. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me chat to you today. So, can you tell me roughly how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
Yeah, so I started kind of recording and releasing last year, end of last year, but I've been a musician for a lot longer than that, obviously. I started gigging a few years ago, and then ever since I was little, I was just singing and playing a guitar. And I got lessons in primary school, and it kind of all just led to where I am now. And ever since I was little, I said, I want to be a famous singer-songwriter. That was always the dream. It never changed. So I'm really glad that in the past year I've been able to start releasing music and sharing it with people.
So, have you always been a country singer?
No, I actually haven't. So I always kind of liked country music. I think it started with Taylor Swift first when I was little, as a lot of young girls would say. And then that kind of led me toward artists like Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert, and all of those kind of Luke Combs, Lainey Wilson. American country pop was what I was really interested in. But for a while there, what I was writing, I think in the teenage years, it was easier to write from a kind of sad emotion. So I led towards that indie kind of dark and mysterious sound. And then I think it was 2 years ago now, I was going to a country music program. Um, and I was like, oh, I need to write a country song before I go to the country program so that I fit in. And I wrote the song. It was the best song that I'd written to that point. And from there on, I just kept writing country and I just fell into that zone and it made so much sense for me.
So, what's it like going into the recording studio when you recorded your debut single called "Pink Is My Color"?
Yeah, so it's super cool finally getting into a studio. I mean, you write these songs just kind of in your bedroom by yourself with a guitar and sing them out. And, you kind of imagine how they're going to be produced, but it's it's like amazing when it all comes together. You're in the studio with an amazing producer, an amazing band of professional musicians, and they just bounce ideas off and they're like, hey, do you like this for the drums? Hey, do you like this for the guitar? And it all just starts to fall together and the tracks start to lay over. And it's just amazing to see your song come to life from what it once was, just a vocal and guitar, to having all of those layers together.
So, it must have been quite daunting when you first went into the recording studio, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little scary at first, but I think I really liked it. Like, leading up to it, I was a bit nervous. You're about to put these songs down, and once they're down, they're not going to change after that. So that's the scariest part. And anything that changes in the studio, that's the final cut of it. But once you're in there, it's such an amazing experience, and it kind of felt like I was at home already. Like even though it was the first time recording, I felt so safe in that environment.
So, can you tell me more about your debut single, "Pink Is My Color"? How did that come about?
Yeah, so pink is my color is a bit about my love for the color pink, but it's more about growing up. Um, for a little while, I think there's a phase in primary school where some kids go, pink is only for girls. And for some reason, that is associated with weakness. And now I don't think that's really true, but little me really took that to heart. And I did the thing a lot of people do. And I was like, my favorite color is blue because I didn't want to seem weak. And then as I was growing up, I started to kind of grow out of that and realize how silly it is to put something like that on a color. And one year I decided, hey, I'm going to dye my hair bright pink. And whilst that was very scary, I did it. First time dyeing my hair, and I went bright pink. And it felt the most me I had been, and it felt very expressive. So I went ahead and did that. And then I was like, you know what? This really feels like me. And then I had this idea for pink as my color. And I was starting to, dress in all pink, and it was becoming part of me as an artist. So I wanted that song to kind of show who I am as a person. And I'm really glad that got to be my debut single to introduce myself.
So, I'm guessing you have to write some more about Pink songs in the future, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I always try to include a little bit about pink or sparkle in a lot of my songs. So definitely more on the way.
So, tell me about your follow-up single to "Pink Is My Color" called "Masquerade."
Yeah, so Masquerade kind of follows on from that idea, just about not concealing who you are and being your true self. The song kind of follows a love story of someone, a female, telling a male he has, let's say, physical scars on his face or emotional scars, and he's scared to show that. But she shows him that it's okay. And I think writing this song, I thought that that could be applied to yourself as a person. You know, there's things that might be broken, or there might be little scars or anything like that, but you can still love who you are and you don't have to hide any part of yourself. I think it's really beautiful to embrace everything about yourself. And that's where Masquerade came from.
So tell me more about your latest single called "The Devil Wears Cowgirl Boots."
Yeah, so The Devil Wears Cowgirl Boots came out on Friday last week, and it was so amazing to have another single out. I mean, it's just so exciting to go through the process every time. The Devil Wears Cowgirl Boots in like visual aesthetic is quite different, people might notice. I'm normally bright pink and sparkles and a white cowboy hat, but I kind of flipped that on its head for this song because it had more of that dark and mysterious vibe. And The Devil Wears Cowgirl Boots, whilst it comes across dark and a little more mischievous, it still follows the themes of my previous songs. So it's a very much a story song. So if you listen through it, you'll see the story in the verses. And it's about a older female who grew up in a small town. And I guess she's very expressive and she's kind of different to everyone else she knows. And people might not always like that or accept that as much. But she teaches another young girl from the small town how to be confident and bold and brave in expressing who she is as well. So it's really about female empowerment and passing on to younger generations what you learn and what parts of yourself, you know, you're free to express. And yeah, so it does come up with this dark kind of aesthetic and everything like that, different sound, which was so fun to play around with. But it still always ties into that same overarching message in all of my music.
So are you working on any new music?
So I still have some music that's recorded and it's waiting in the background. I'm hoping to do a bit of a bigger project this year, so we might see like an EP on the way, which is very exciting. So that's all ready, and then I am always writing. I mean, as songwriters, we're just, you know, we always have to write. So, you know, those songs that are coming out now were written a few years ago, and the stuff I'm writing now is so different. So it's like this little magic. You're always one step behind the artist. And I'm really excited by even what I'm writing now to get that into the studio and start recording so that I can get that to you guys as soon as possible.
So I don't know, you may have already recorded another country single with another artist, but have you considered recording another single with another artist, country artist?
Yeah, I think that would be really fun to do. I would love to look into that. I do a lot of kind of co-writing with other artists, so we write songs together, but I've never really actually done a duet, and that's something I'm really interested in. Especially, I think it'd be cool to do something with another male artist, you know, a male-female duet. They're always lovely. So I think it would be great to look into that.
So have you got any gigs coming up in Australia?
I do pub gigs every weekend, so I always have those, and those are always like on my social media and on my website, for people to find them in the area. And other than that, I'll be heading to a few festivals. I'm performing at a festival called Eka in one of their competitions, and then I'll be heading to a festival called Gympie. That one's just to watch and, you know, kind of see what everyone else does. It's always great to learn from the bigger artists and how they perform on stage. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So can you tell me, what's it like being an independent artist for you?
Yeah, I love it. You have a lot of control. Obviously, you fully fund yourself, so you have to find your avenues. I gig every weekend. That's how I make my money. You know, streaming doesn't give you that much, and that's a really big issue in the industry. But I love music so much that you make it work. You know what I mean? And I love having that full control and that direct communication with your audience. You know, you can talk to them directly through social media, meeting people in person. And it's such a lovely space. And there's so many independent musicians in Australia to network with and share that journey with. So I think it's a really beautiful thing when you're starting out.
So how do you come across Nardia RTC Records?
Yeah, so Nardia was recommended to me by an artist named Haley Jensen. I don't know if you've met her, but she's an artist here in Australia, and she's absolutely lovely. I met her a few years ago um, at a festival called Groundwater, and I actually met her in the airport after seeing her perform, and my dad pushed me to go and to introduce myself. And then I saw a few of her shows when I was younger, and she does artist mentoring. So we are kind of waiting for the right time for me. And when I decided to start releasing, I thought that'd be a good time to get some help from someone who has experienced everything before and knows what that kind of process is. So last year, I did mentoring sessions with her at, like every second week of the year. And she really helped me out with that process. But she passed me on to Nardia, and she said, Nardia is a great publicist. Have a look at her. And I did, and we had a chat, and she just seemed really down to earth and like she was really passionate on music and passionate in my music as a small and brand new artist. And I've absolutely loved working with her. She's so organized. She always gets the best interviews. So yeah, it's been absolutely amazing working with Nardia.
So finally, can some listeners, where can they find you on your social media?
Yeah, so my social media, you can find me on all the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, any of those. And the handle is at Coral Renee Music on every single one. And then my website is coralrenee.com. So pretty easy, normally just my name.
Thank you for chatting to you today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a great interview.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.